I've been studying the persuasive power of words and behavior for a lot of years now, and recently I was asked in a radio interview if there was a method I could spell out for the audience to help a person to persuade just about anyone to do just about anything. Well, up to a point, I'd say, yeah, there is. And that point is that if you're trying to persuade someone to do something that's bad for them, you may never get another chance to get them to do anything else. But assuming that your intentions are good for both you and your persuadee, then yeah, there are 7 steps. You can absolutely take these steps to be persuasive. Persuasion is a deliberate attempt to influence a person's attitude and behavior. That means there are no guarantees you'll succeed, but these 7 steps will help you stack the deck in your favor. The first 5 steps involve you answering some essential questions for yourself. Let's go through these one at a time. The first step is to answer for yourself the question, what do you want? Confidence comes from preparation. And most people only know what they don't want. That's why it's so much easier for people to complain than to do anything interesting. So before you begin using persuasive communication, you need to dial in your persuasion proposition. What is it you want to persuade someone to do, to think, to feel, to believe? And you have to be specific about this with yourself because vague generalizations don't inform you enough to be useful. It's like that old Stephen Wright joke. He went to a general store and they wouldn't sell him anything specifically. Asking yourself what you want is all about beginning your persuasive efforts with the end clearly in mind. Now, anytime you're in a situation that calls for you to speak and you don't know what you want as a result of speaking, my advice is back away, buy some time, keep your powder dry, and wait until you know exactly what you want. Because trying to persuade anyone without an outcome in mind is like driving a car without a destination. You waste a lot of time and energy, and when you stop, you have nothing to show for it but wear and tear. The first and most important step is to begin with the end in mind. What do you want to have happen? All right, the second step is to answer the question, why do you care? Once you've identified your desired outcome, it's important to know your motivation for pursuing it, what you stand to gain if you get what you want, and what you stand to lose if you don't. Engaging your own motivation may be just what's needed to take you across the finish line when the going gets tough, to give you the persistence you need to advance your cause and further your progress towards your outcome, even in the face of opposition. When you know why something matters to you, it helps you to stay focused. It helps you pay attention to incoming information, to get feedback, and to be in a learning mode instead of a reactive mode because you're motivated. Lining up your motivation adds passion to your persuasion, emotional power to your words. Instead of offering some bland and boring blah, blah, blah exercise and intellectual occupation and obfuscation, you're talking about something you really care about. So the question again is, why do you care? All right, the third step is to answer the question, why would they care? It's important to understand that people are more often driven by self-interest than by your interest. Even when it's your show on the radio, they've tuned their dial to WIIFM, what's in it for me? That means that a person seeking to persuade has to be narrowcasting onto that frequency. And you can increase your chance of success by finding out everything you can about what motivates people, what their opinions are in the matter at hand, and what values they use to make decisions. Now, I teach a model of motivation that allows people to be very precise about this, and a model of communication style that allows you to pick up on what somebody needs very quickly so you can respond in kind. These things are important in shaping your perception of the perception of others. Because when you finally do talk, you need to be able to tell them how giving you what you want helps them get what they want. The fourth step is to identify the context in which they will be most receptive. The question to answer is, where and when will I persuade them? You see, there's a time and a place for everything, but it's never all the time in every place. The fact is, some people are more receptive in the morning, others in the afternoon. Some people are more receptive in the hallway, others when they're seated in their office. Some people are more receptive going into a meeting, others coming out of one. Some more receptive before they ate, some after they've eaten. This is all observable, but you have to pay attention for it. And your own experiences with people give you clues about this. For example, if I asked my boss for a resource in the hall and it never happened, I'd call that a clue. If I went into his office and asked and nothing happened, I'd call that a clue. The rule is that if what you're doing isn't working, anything else is more likely to be effective than something that's proven not to work. And that includes trying a different time or at a different place. So if you've tried and failed a certain way at a certain time or in a certain place, wisdom dictates the next time you try, change it up based on what you've learned from your experience. Now, once you've identified what you want, why you want it, what they want, and how giving you what you want helps them get what they want, well, it's time to organize how you'll say what you have to say. Remember that people make decisions emotionally and then justify those decisions after the fact with facts, reason, and logic. You want to design what you have to say so that it hits those powerful emotional buttons that move people to be persuaded. You also want to make it easy for people to go along with you by making what you have to say more palatable and easier to digest. Keep it simple, make your point obvious, and tell people what you want them to do, and you actually increase the chance of them understanding and agreeing to your proposition. That brings us to the 6th step. Rehearse until you're completely comfortable. I'm going to say this again, confidence comes from preparation. Why walk in cold when you can walk in hot? Why take a shot before lining up the shot? The problem with just saying what you have to say is that the first pass is just saying it for you. You wouldn't use a firearm without first training yourself in its use, because if the sight is off, you miss the mark. If the safety is on, you pull the trigger and nothing happens, or it puts you in danger. By mentally rehearsing, you grow comfortable with what you're going to say. And the more comfortable and confident you are with what you have to say, the more comfortable and confident they're going to be when they hear what you have to say. Now, I call the 7th step, stand and deliver, even though you can do it while sitting down. In my training programs on persuasion, I actually ask people to stand up to talk before I let them deliver their persuasive proposition. It's a metaphor about mindset. It's about having the courage of your convictions, about getting off your seat and away from your safety cushion, about putting it all on the line and going all in, as opposed to hedging your bets, playing it safe, keeping your head down and your mouth shut. If you're not confident in what you have to say, you might as well forget about it. When you want to deliver a powerful message, then do it. Stand up, stand strong, deliver it. And there you have it. 5 questions to answer for yourself and 2 steps to take after that in order to deliver a persuasive message.